weeks and weeks of play have led to this moment.
Playoffs is back and we have some surprises in store for you.
Absolute chills.
Everybody's so low for Antarctic check. Cookie!
There's a reason that Cookie was touted as the best soldier in EMEA.
Saints play this beautifully. The bomb sticks mid-air!
You gotta have supreme confidence in yourself.
There is so much to fight for, and I am stoked to see how it's going to really pan out.
I love this when the fight is dire, when players recognize when they must make a play.
Oh my lord!
I am so damn excited.
This is absolutely spicy.
Only one team gets to come away from this alive.
Now it's about their name. It's about their legacy.
Know when to take that risk, when to bet it all.
The Overwatch Contenders Summer Series playoffs continue right now.
Why, hello and welcome back, everybody. I know, it's not Doran Hurix. It's Rich Rad and Kenobi here to take the tail end of EMEA today. It's a thrill to be able to get to, be casting some of these amazing players on the other side of the water. And as I said, we're here, we're excited, and Kenobi, I think you are too.
I mean, I am as well. Yeah, it's nice to go back, to kind of the roots a little bit. You're Italian, I'm French. We kind of, have some European blood in us anyways. And we have a great matchup, I think, here starting things off, finishing things off, I guess, from the first two series that we've had between Oh Yeah and between Team PEPS here. I think this is one, especially in the losers bracket, there's a lot to play for. We just saw Oh Yeah on broadcast get 3-0'd by Ex Oblivione, but Oh Yeah to me is still a team that's like, at any point they could just turn it around. We even saw them yesterday with the reverse sweep. Like, this is not a team to be trifled with at all. You gotta come correct or they will, shock you, play something that you're not particularly used to, and it could catch you off guard, especially in a series like this where there is that pressure to be, it's either you win or you're eliminated, and Oh Yeah has a lot of tricks up their sleeves, and we'll see if Team PEPS is going to be able to deal with that. But here's the roster for Oh Yeah. Already seen this team previously, and the thing about this team that's so interesting to me is that they just play so many different things, and I feel like in a meta where that's not really like defined yet, you have a lot of potential to just like catch those other teams off guard, like I mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, with what we've seen already, again, them finding themselves now in an elimination space where they are going to have to go against Team PEPS. I love the variety. You and I highlighted it significantly when it came to specifically NA. There was a lot of variety, but Oh Yeah for sure is one to show a plethora of options. When it does come down to Team PEPS, though, again, you yourself excited to be able to cast them and making sure that we can see these individuals be able to perform at such a high level. There's names on here that we know for an extended period of time, and we know that they're going to be fighting, and especially for all those in the chat that are fighting for them.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Team PEPS, I mean, obviously I'm very outwardly, French, but like I will try and hold back a little bit of my biases towards this team, because of the fact that I think that just in general, like, this team is very well put together. I think since their inception, they've had a lot of success, and like, it seems like, between the staff and between the players, between everyone running this team, it seems like a very well-oiled organization. And like you mentioned, a lot of players that we kind of know as being very prolific, especially throughout the history of Contenders, right? I think you can look at everyone here, and there's a lot of pedigree attached to all of these names. So it's interesting to see them down here in the losers bracket. And to be fair, it was against SR Peak Check where it was very close in that 5-map series. I think it could have gone either way. But SR Peak Check, though, showing that they are pretty formidable, a formidable team in their own right, being able to take that map off of Twisted Minds. The Reinhardt's been playing extremely well, and for Team PEPS, I think for them, they want to really, stick it to Oh Yeah, get that momentum going forward, and then figure out a way to keep that losers bracket run going. And because I think that it was Cointree earlier who said that Team PEPS is a team that they are very much looking forward to playing, and is an incredibly talented team. And in the losers bracket, like, if you're going home now, it would, I think, be a disappointment for this Team PEPS team.
Yeah, it really would. And with us being able to get into this first map, we can't go without getting your predictions. Again, Oh Yeah for 1, Team PEPS for 2. Antarctic Peninsula is where we're heading first. It is a frigid wasteland, and we will see who is able to warm up enough just to maybe melt that ice and take that early advantage.
And Antarctic Peninsula is a map that's interesting in terms of the fact that it feels like the most EU map possible because of the fact that you can just play Rush on everywhere. Like, that's what like I feel like this map is really good for. It'll be interesting to see what Aw Yeah is going to bring to the table on a map like this. You know, is there going to be some Junkrat play? They like to play a lot of different things. Matching Rush against this team of Team Peps, I'm not sure how that's going to end up going, because Team Peps, you know, while it is Molfig, who is traditionally more so of that off-tank player, Molfig, I think, has the capability to play some of those Rush tanks, and I think, you know, you have to always look at Orisa as being a possibility, too, because of the fact that she is so strong in this meta. Granted, it is a U, so it kind of does move back towards being more of that Rush and Brawl-centric map.
Absolutely. As now we get to Icebreaker. Who is going to take the helm here for this first round and set the stage? Again, I've said it once, but again, Aw Yeah, 1, Team Peps, 2. Get them in fast. I have a funny feeling we know which direction this is going to go, just because we know what the chat favors, but I mean,
we'll see. Aw Yeah, you know, Aw Ya's got some fans.
Aw Ya's supporters
got some
out there.
Aw Ya's got some fans. Maybe not an entire country like Team Peps might have, but they still got fans.
They do. They really do. As we are going to enter in onto this, you can already see that the Orisa, as you mentioned, hovered. Such a substantial selection here going into this. It's a head-for-head. The Battle Cattle shall make its charge.
Ooh.
But they want to debate us a little bit.
I mean, it would be very difficult, I think, to play the Junker Queen here, especially against, like, the Junkrat and Kaya, who, the amount of disruption that would be gained from that and the amount of upfront damage. But one of the things that we're seeing a difference here is Hybrid's going to be on that Hanzo, so being able to take these off angles and have a little bit more of that long-range potential, pick potential. But speaking of pick potential, Naga is already taken down by Kaiser, so that's already a Mei lost, and Aw Yeah might have an avenue to go forward a little bit aggressively here without that Mei in the back pocket of Team Peps.
Especially because they don't have the wall to try and sever and disorient the opponent. You see the swap up now going to come out onto the Genji instead. Hybrid has been javelin on 2 separate occasions now, just continuing to be nullified and pushed down that stairway where they continue to lose this value. But with this flanking reposition, Naga comes in with the shurikens, getting a massive damage onto Hot Babe, and will be able to contest further since the supports have now gone down. But there is at least one Kronos doing work as well, but can't survive through the damage that's coming through by Kaya. This trading back and forth, even though it did look like it was starting to lean a little bit still heavily in favor of Aw Yeah, they actually have it stripped away by Team Peps.
But I really do like the decision here from Naga. As soon as he, you know, loses that fight on the Mei immediately, he just goes over to the Genji knowing that, like, against the Zenyatta like this, if Isaac is going to play a little bit over aggressively here and they're going to try and go into that, or, you know, play forward more so than anything else, Zen is very, very vulnerable in a scenario like this, right? And Genji is perfect for just instantly taking them down, so I think this is a great decision to switch over to that Genji and offer a little more poke and that assassination potential in that backline. Is there's going to be a Blizzard, though, coming in for Kaiser, so we'll see if Team Peps can maneuver around that as the point continues to tick up for them.
You can see it's going to take quite a rotation here to get close enough for that Blizzard, unless they just want to blitz forward. Sticking near, Immortality Field already procced since it's tossed towards the deck, as now you've got the Dragon Strike going to be not so helpful, as there's a great pickup again with this Junkrat damage. We don't get to see it much, you and I, in the NA region, but it is doing some wonders here in this EU region.
I love watching Kaya play Junkrat. It's just like every time, like, just so aggressive, AC 130 above, like just going in the backline and getting those assassinations. Like, it's not something that you're necessarily expecting, and if you're Hybrid, there's not a lot you can do if Kaya is going to be so adept at hitting that just 100-0 combo. So I think that that's something that Team Peps are going to have to acknowledge, is that Kaya needs to be tracked a little bit more so in a couple of these fights. And now with that Junkrat tire, I mean, Naga's going to have Blade to go into this fight, but I think everyone who's played ranked against a Junkrat knows that if you're blading into Junkrat tire, it's one of the worst feelings possible, because you just get instantly killed and tracked.
You can see from Naga taking a long flank around the back. There's much intel being communicated and where their positioning is, attempting to go for the supports. The Rip Tire taking a long flank as well, looking to give coverage, as we do have a pick off screen onto FD God. This Tire's not going to get anything. It couldn't hit Pay Dirt. So it's still numbers advantage for Aw Yeah. They've been able to isolate and force back Team Peps because they did not want to go willingly into that Rip Tire. So they're going to get one last shot here to try and counteract against this.
Yeah, and I mean, really, they still just only have that Dragon Blade, and there's a Transcendence on the other side from Hot Babe, so you just hit that Q button and are going to be able to completely negate the value that this Dragon Blade can get.
Naga, knockback still holding on to that blade. It is the moment to bring to the forefront as the slicing and dicing is not going to gain value. The Terror Surge denies and forces them back. The Transcendence layering on top of it. But now that they have been lost, they only have the Animatrix for the few more seconds. Team PEPS are starting to work their way through this as Chronos gets theirs and now even has the Dragon Strike just in case to utilize if there's any stragglers trying to zone them off or look to carry that into the next one and are able to swap this back.
Hybrid got a nice little 4K during all of that, and that's one of the things that the Hanzo does offer is if you can get onto this flank angle and get this crossfire set up, there's nothing really that can contest you beyond something like maybe just a Mei Icicle, but if you're able to get into that side angle and get that crossfire going, you can get a lot of value, and now Team PEPS are able to win that fight. Oh yeah, don't really have anything in terms of macro, and with where we are percentage-wise, I mean, Team PEPS is in the driver's seat, I would say here, Rich, with the amount of ultimates. They just need to not die in the neutral to something like a, Kaya just AC 130 into it.
Extremely aggressive positioning, and you do lose Molvig with this Orisa. That's going to spell disaster if Team PEPS doesn't manage to draw back and buy a few more seconds. They just need to keep this contested, but the overtime is going to start to dwindle. That's the second player down. They no longer have the sound barrier. That's disastrous here as round one go in favor of Oh Yeah.
And I think that might be Molfig just not necessarily respecting the incoming damage, especially with Discord, because there's not a lot of teams playing Zen, right? Zen is kind of like a hero that was in like the past meta a lot more so than anything else, but like Zen plus Junkrat plus Mei with Discord on you, it absolutely annihilates Orisas like that, even through the buffs from Fortify. So really good understanding from All Yet to be able to take down that aggression from Molfig, take down that Orisa, and once an Orisa is gone in these compositions, it feels like it's just completely over. As you can see the chat predictions, yeah, I mean 75% expected for a Team PEPS series, but All Yeah, I mean still coming in, got some fans of their own with that 25%.
Well, and to build on your topic just briefly, I mean, you had this slow play to make sure that you can get back in with the Zenyatta, and the fact that they overextend into it for that Discord is what's really challenging. So hopefully they'll be able to learn their lesson going into the second round, and these Javelins continue to fly. And another thing is specifically with Isaac, making sure that they can constantly have those onto Hybrid. There was a magnet attached, it felt like, in the previous round where they're denying Hybrid, whereas in the end of it, that's where they gain value. But Kaya instantly taking down the support. Once again, Team PEPS playing on the back foot, solely relying on FD God is not going to happen.
I mean, it feels like nowhere is safe. I mean, Kaya is in the backline, being very aggressive and trades their life for this, but it's totally fine. Like, trading yourself for a Baptiste in a composition like this against what Team PEPS is running, it's totally fine. That's basically all of the healing that the comp has, and now, Oh Yeah, have all this positioning to play with. It's going to benefit so much than Zenyatta and all of the poke that Oh Yeah has, so this is a great start for them. And you can see Molfig just continuously, permanently has that Discord on him, and FD God has been taken out.
Oh, nice takedown, though. You had Hybrids, and so there was such a focus onto the opposing Orisa that it's able to have Hybrid get this elimination, so that can allow at least some transition to the low ground, but there's still presence on this point. Oh yeah, generating consistently to gain this footing ahead, even more so onto Team PEPS. Cryo Freeze active, can't quite eliminate the Mei down below, and this is a wonderful job by Oh Yeah. Even if they do lose this fight, they've accumulated so much in doing so.
I mean, they are stalling, but Molfig is down, so that means the Orisa they have to give this up. Okay, with Hot Babe going down, that might be an angle where they can keep going because there's no healing left unless Cool Boy is able to get back into this fight, and Naga should be able to clean up. That is a very key pick. They were able to get Hot Babe there, because if they weren't able to do that and Isaac is able to stay alive a little bit longer, that looks completely disastrous, I think. But Team PEPS finally wrangled back control of this point. Now they're in the position where Hybrid is going to get these angles to work with. It's going to be very difficult for Oh Yeah to move forward into this Han, so they have to respect the incoming damage. But Team PEPS have this Terra Surge available to Molfig, also coming in on that Soundbreak, which is going to be great for layering some of the incoming damage. But with Kaiser specifically having that Blizzard, it's something that they're going to need.
I mean, they've already forced out both cooldowns, so they do need to be a little bit cautious underneath, even though the Blizzard is holstered for now. Does toss it onto the point, zoning back Naga, who just tucks tail, manages to get the health pack, comes back in. Great elimination again, and the sound barrier not available for Team PEPS, and you've lost your tank consistently now again on Molfig. This is just really well done by Oh Yeah.
Oh Yeah, still holding strong. And I mean, that was only off of just the Blizzard and the Riptire. You still have 3 very key ultimates that are going to help you win this next fight. Your macro isn't necessarily in the dumpster if you had used a couple of more ultimates, and with 80% and ticking upwards, I mean, this is last fight territory here. Team PEPS are going to most likely have to use everything just to try and get back into this plane, or they're going to lose this first round.
And look at the sneaky position, taking the high ground, looking to separate. As you've got Hot Babe just behind with the Discord onto the Orisa, going headfirst into it. Has the Transcendence as an ace in the hole, but still, I mean, you're gonna go headfirst into Molfig with no fear. Naga now on the deflect. You do have the Surge pulling them in. There's some great coverage though by FD God because they weren't able to use that in the previous engagement. They carry it over into this one. Hot Babe coming in on fire for a 2-piece. There's an attempt to turn it back around. A triple now makes work of their opponents. Team PEPS starting to gain some traction here in the overtime, but again, it's just strictly 2 players. It's both Kronos and Molfig trying to withstand this, but when you've got a Junkrat having a field day on the front position, it becomes even that much more challenging. Overtime still procced, an attempt, a Hail Mary from Team PEPS to touch it, and neither of the Shimada brothers can get there in time.
And I mean, look, extremely convincing off of this first win. Like, that did not seem that realistically, beyond the one time where Hybrid got those 4 kills, it felt like had complete control. And again, it's because of this playstyle that not a lot of other people are playing, right? There aren't a lot of other teams playing Zenyatta like this. There aren't a lot of teams playing Junkrat like this. Like, Kaya, just by the virtue of having this assassination potential and being so mobile on the Junkrat, just completely annihilated what Team PEPS was trying to do, playing, you know, a little bit more of that slower, pokey style. And like, Team PEPS really never got their footing throughout that first map until then.
They had the right idea though, and you commented the second the Genji came out to try and deny this Zenyatta play, but realistically, with the way that Hot Babe was playing and the cover that they were getting from Cool Boy was so significant. The immortality fields, the angles they were playing, or they were playing so aggressively that the DPS were elsewhere, and as we saw in the end of it, Molfig was just going 1-for-1 against them. Like, what are you doing here?
And I mean, the thing about it is as well, like, if they're diving, it's only Naga who can dive, right? And Zenyatta does have a little bit of survivability, right? Unless Naga is getting like an insta-kill, like dash reset, Zenyatta can survive for a little bit of a long time, and especially if you have a Baptiste with you, Immortality Field just makes it so much harder because no one's diving with Naga, right? It's just Naga, and you can't ask, like, as good as Naga is at Genji, right? We know how good Naga is at Genji. You can't ask him to be able to 1v2 a Zenyatta and a Baptiste. It's nigh impossible, especially if you don't have any of your cooldowns available to you. So, great start for here on this first map of Antarctic Peninsula. I mean, as we go, you know, further throughout the series, some things will probably change in terms of what compositions we see because the maps are going to change. But yeah, I think this was an absolutely fantastic start from which is good for them because remember, they're coming off of what I would consider like a 3-0 shellacking that Exoblivione gave them, and now they're in this losers bracket and doesn't look like they've really missed a beat, right? It's like kind of like a go next angle, and they're totally fine, it looks like, to start.
Well, and the interesting part of it is you can see how the variety of hero selection and composition against one type of team can be, you know, really challenging to work through because the opposing team just is able to dominate or knows how to counteract against these unique selections. Whereas in moments like these, where you do take these unique selections and compositions that the enemy is not particularly fond of or has knowledge of, even the Zenyatas and adjustments that they're bringing to it, then now becomes a problem. So it's this ebb and flow between how the teams react to the way that you try to play specifically.
We do have our map next. It is going to be Eichenwalde is where we're going to be going to for our hybrid map. So we'll see if we kind of see similar things for this Team PEPS team, if we see any changes coming out from them. I think for specifically, I think it's going to be interesting to see if they continue to bring out the Junkrat, because the Junkrat is something that I think Kaya is just, I feel like every time we've seen Kaya in, like, you know, this team, the Junkrat really does, like, get a lot of value because of the fact that they are so adept at utilizing the mobility. That's, like, the biggest thing for me when we see this Junkrat player, is that the ability to just kind of dive into that backline and play so mobile and come from angles where you're not expecting, right? You're not expecting a Junkrat from, like, the other side of the map to just hit you and mine you once, direct hit, like, 100 to 0 you from above. Like, right? You're just not expecting that a lot of the time. So catching the team off guard really hinders what Team PEPS was trying to do a lot.
I mean, and even when you aren't, let's say, across the map, and you get that close, you just see the single shot plus a concussion mine, and you're just back in spawn. It's just unreal how
and
quick
even,
that damage
even like
comes
trading
through.
your life for it, right? If you're I think Kaya was like, I think the one time that I saw where it was like, oh, you instantly killed the Baptiste, and then like you trade your life for it, right? But like Junkrat for Baptiste in that composition, I think is a trade I'd take 9 times out of 10, especially if the other team is running Lucio, and it's like, oh, cool, you just don't have any healers anymore, so you can't walk up to us, right? I think that's just great understanding from that team, and from Team Peps, I think, you know, it's kind of for them, it's control, you know, you kind of take that one. It's a map that probably is very good at with that composition. Now you get to go to a map like Eichenwald, a map that you're choosing, you probably have something set up for, and you can be able to wrangle this one back into even keel.
Well, and that's one of the similarities that we touched on, at least in NA region here, where, you know, the integration of Lucio and what it brings to the composition. But, you know, the challenging part is when you do lose the Baptiste or your other more significant throughput healer, there's just no way to come back from that. It's so challenging. And when we saw that instant pickup, especially on that second round, FD God's just like, all right, guys, we gotta back out. Like, I can't do anything about this. Like, what do you want me to do?
I'm just alone with Lucio. My aura does not heal that much, right? And that's the biggest thing about, like, kind of the difference between having, you know, the Iliari over something like the Baptiste is that, or like over the Lucio rather, is that Iliari does offer a little bit more of that healing output. So losing one of them isn't necessarily a death sentence like it is with like a Bap Lucio.
As now we're going to be entering in and seeing how this second map is going to unfold, if is going to be on a tear and continue their reign of dominance, at least right now, and recovering from the previous match that they had. And just like you mentioned, curious to see what that defense is going to look like specifically to try and hold off against us as we do enter in onto it. And I'm just so glad we get to see a lot more of this, because I really do aesthetically love this map specifically versus what you and I are so used to when it comes to King's Row. Not to say that anything's wrong with King's Row. Like, nothing's wrong with King's Row. But, like, this one just makes... I really would love to go to a castle like this. Like, somewhere in Europe or, like...
You're gonna go to Italy. Like, it's literally,
I know.
You can
I'm
literally
so
just
excited.
do that. You can just go to a castle.
This is true. This is true. I mean, I'm gonna go to, like, the Colosseum and stuff, which, of course,
all the
like,
people
you have
in
to.
EU are just, like... I bet, like, if they're watching, they've probably like been to just like a random castle somewhere because their parents have made them do it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's one, I think it's in like way far south Germany. It's this giant one that I want to go see like in the future, and I don't remember the name of it, but somebody's gonna at me.
So many castles, and like I feel like I'm at the point where it's like, okay, like if you've seen one castle, you've seen them all.
You kind of seen them all.
Yeah. It's like tiny villages in France. It's like once you've seen one, there's not really a lot of differences between the other ones.
As now we're going to be entering in onto this map, we see the doors open. Oh yeah, on the attack here, as Team Peps want to set the goalpost defensively. Curious how it's going to fend off as Isaac now going to look to try and hold the side room. Beautiful wall comes in by Team Peps, though defensively. There is no escape for and they cannot shift into that side doorway fast enough that they do unfortunately lose most of their lives. One trades out, but there's more than enough to get back at a full 5.
And this is something I actually like to see Team Peps do a little bit more, is that ability to just kind of go aggressive. They do trade out Cronus for it, which is like a little bit of a scary proposition. Kaiser is still over here, but they're able to kill this man. That's not good. That the fact that Kaiser was able to get that kill. Cronus needs to get back to this fight relatively quickly here, because Aya is going to recontest. They need this healing from Cronus, and Cronus finally is back.
Ice wall again. These have been impeccable from Naga. The second one has yielded massive success, and now this hidden position goes for the flank onto the support. Spear spin knocks him into the wall, gets the javelin, but great hesitation and patience with that immortality field. Unfortunately, Naga still playing on that upper stairway, gets the angle to shut down the supports. But with Molfig now locked into the corner, they've lost that. They need to be careful because the respawn advantage is here for
Really do love that patience, though, coming out from Molfig specifically, just waiting for that perfect moment where doesn't check the corner, just goes into that defensive angle, or goes into the back line, instantly kills off the Baptiste, which kind of is the same thing like the Bap Lucio composition with the Bap Zen, where it's like once the Baptiste is gone, there's no way really back into fights unless you can kind of miracle check your way through them. As we come back into this fight next time, coming in on some key ultimates. Blizzard is really soon here for Kaiser. There's also this Terra Surge coming in from Isaac. Isaac is very in the team.
And you can see that once that cryo freeze was forced to, oh my gosh, that was a quick takedown though. Despite the blizzard being active, they were not able to be locked down fast enough. Terra Surge by Molfik could be committed into this. Immortality Field has been lobbed far enough forward to get them sustained, and they actually carry this over into the next fight and really only commit 2 ultimates into that fight.
Yeah, and I love the kind of ability for Team PEPS to be a little bit more aggressive this time, but it's a lot more controlled, right? We saw on the first map there was like that aggression, but there were a couple of times where it was just a little bit too much, and now it feels like it's very direct. They're like, okay, we're just focusing down this backline. We cannot let Hot Babe and Cool Boy just live forever in that backline. We need to focus him down, and Molfik has really been the tip of the spear for that.
That's going to be some big damage onto Isaac, as you can see this rotation instantly onto Kaiser. Nice wall to get them out of it, keeping at least the tank line locked up for the moment, but the spear comes through regardless once that wall is down, and this is a very different Team PEPS on the defensive side of Eichenwald.
Minute left here for Aya on the attack. Kaiser's actually going to just swap over from this Mei over to that Torbjorn, offer a little bit more of that spam potential and damage up front that's going to be able to take down Molfik potentially a little bit quicker here. But I mean, this is their last chance right now with 40 seconds left. They need to have these ultimates hit Pater.
Big pickup onto Naga, who has been instrumental on a number of these fights. Can there be recovery is the real question. Overclock gets rid of the turret for now, but finally, gains the advantage. It takes them pretty much the entirety of this time bank, but will be able to maneuver into this street space to work through the door.
And there you saw from Molfik's POV, Molfik was just trying to go into the backline and see if he could Terra Surge the supports, but the supports played so split that Molfik was just like, okay, where do I look? Where do I need to get someone? And then goes over for the Zenyatta. Great, I just hit Transcendence, and then through all of that, there's no tank available to the Team PEPS, so they just get instantly killed in the backline, and Kaya is able to get 2 here as all you're going to start moving forward. 2.5 minutes in their time bank, but this is going to be a lot of good progression they're going to get because they have control of this high ground now.
Kaya's just so nutty, and I agree with you. Like, it's one thing when you see it on like a control map, but then you just continue to watch this player over and over again, just with no care in the world, completely take out 2 individuals. This gives a massive advantage. Another one comes in onto Hybrid. This is allowing to regain so much opportunity with this time bank that they lost on the initial push. Now you can see them move in with the Blizzard. Isn't going to get anything to turn this about. Terra Surge pulls them in. FD God up top will escape. And there we go again. Gaining so much space.
And I mean, Naga's just going to completely forego this Mei, knowing that they need some sort of matching in terms of that incoming damage, because realistically, Mei doesn't have the same damage consistently as something like a Torbjorn does. They really, FD God is very lucky to be able to get out of that one. As Team PEPS are going to try and hold this defense here. Hot Baby, though, takes down Cronus. That's a huge pick. I think FD God is going to have to commit Sound Barrier if they want to recontest.
Dropping down from on high, final moments to do so. The Surge still being held onto. Molten Core even going to cause separation away from this payload. You need to see some commitment here from Team PEPS. You did have FT God with the Sound Barrier, but it really didn't do anything for them, and they died consequently. And now you're looking at 2.5 minutes in this final stretch.
I mean, Hot Babe is having an absolute series so far on the Zenyatta. I mean, going back to just the first map, now in this one, I mean, left into their own devices in that backline, because again, Team PEPS can't get to the Zenyatta here, and they're so worried about Kaya in that front line that Zenyatta is just free firing from this backline every single time, and there's just no way Team PEPS are able to get to him.
Amp Matrix now down the choke. Kaya's gonna come in with the Riptire patiently for the moment to bait out the first few seconds, eluding the free fire. It does go off, but unfortunately it's too high for it to actually be close enough in proximity to get radial damage that's gonna change the outcome of this fight. Big hold here from Team PEPS, able to isolate and shut down especially with, once again, Naga on that Mei with the wall.
Yeah, and I think the Mei is going to get a lot more value on third here in this enclosed area than it would in something like the second, point where it was Naga having to change over to something else. But here, when these enclosed areas are going to be coming through, it's so good at just being able to deal with it. Also, you can get some icicles from time to time on the heads of the enemy teammates as, minute and 30 seconds for them to try and finish out this map. Team PEPS looking a lot better in terms of the macro with their ultimates.
And they are definitely wanting to deny this completion. Again, every meter counts here. Nice reposition onto Molfik Instantly going to remove that trap, though, so they are not locked in place, forcing out the Fortify early. Surge, but everybody had massive movement to get out of that. Really only one taking a moderate amount of damage, but this flanking angle, because Molfig played too far forward, is going to be the opportunity that Aoya can take advantage of this. Want to just get rid of this wall, peek the corner, and try and see what else they can get. Concussion Mine in the distance, just manages to clip some chip damage again, and focusing fire up onto Hybrid, who can't get a clean shot, nor are the supports close enough.
Yeah, we'll see how aggressive Aoya is going to try and go here. They do have the Transcendence to blanket themselves through a lot of this incoming damage, but there's the Ant Matrix. Are they going to peek this? They're being a little bit aggressive here and actually using their own Ant Matrix against it, and Cronus gets taken out. That's a huge pick.
And you can see Kaya in the back just continuing to draw attention away elsewhere, so it is a 1-for-1 trade thus far. Molfig extremely low, almost goes down again, forces out the Terror Surge to get that extra armament to last a few more seconds, but nobody is present. They've all been forced away because of the Terror Surge.
That was just an absolutely, completely mess of a fight. Like, just an absolute mess. We saw, like, the cameras were switching everywhere. It's incredible to me that just Team PEPS felt like they lost on every single area in that last fight. Like, that was just an absolute just mess of a fight, because the Junkrat in those enclosed areas gets so much value and causes so much disruption that if you're trading 1-for-1 like that and Team PEPS aren't able to stall as much as they would like, it's just very easy for Aoya to move forward aggressively.
It's interesting to see this type of, like, regaining of balance from Team PEPS. It's like they get it. They finally stabilize, but then just moments later, something happens. Like you're saying with Kaya.
Oh, that's an
with
Ajax.
Oh, that is, yeah.
That's not
boy. Good. Well.
FTGod has been playing very fast and loose, I will say.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of just being, like, it is, like, you can be, like, very aggressive on the Lucio, and FTGod, like, has been benefiting a lot from getting final. I mean, he has the most final blows on the team right now and actually in the lobby, but there is, like, a very, like, risk-reward type with that playstyle, and if you do get, like, a little bit too over-aggressive, especially against, like, the amount of damage that Aoya can just instantly kill you with, you do have to play on, like, sort of a tightrope.
And we'll see now, with Aoya on the defense, if they are able to hold back Team PEPS. Naga opting to go for this Genji play again, so that they can potentially try and find Hot Babe specifically, among other potential takedowns, but it's going to be a challenge, as we've already seen before. Isaac, moving up the stairway, does have full visibility of where Naga is looking to play, potentially transition forward. A defensive already utilized, though, for the Torgrid, so going to play back just ever so slightly, sticking close to Kaya. Immortality Field is out, giving protection to Team PEPS, but another cooldown lost here. Nice! Swift strike forward. The reset comes in. Naga finds massive value onto 2 out the gate here, and this is a beautiful opportunity for Team PEPS.
And that's the Naga Genji we know and love, just taking down both of the DPS immediately, and this should be a first point cap extremely early for Team PEPS, and I'm loving, again, the decision to just put Naga on this Genji to just be a little bit more proactive, right? Naga's Mei is very good, don't get me wrong, but, like, the proactiveness and the ability to play a little bit more aggressively as the Genji really helps hinder what Aoya wants to do, and just playing that very pokey style and very, like, just slower style than what they're normally accustomed to.
With 5 minutes and 18 seconds, you feel really good about moving into this position. You have plenty of time to work with. Naga goes right in once again onto the support play. The Immortality Field will come out just in time, and again, that patience from Coolboy has been so vital for them to survive or get assistance from their teammates, that they can keep going and not allow themselves to be lost in this. So it's strictly solely going to be Hot Babe keeping them up.
I felt like a little bit of miscommunication there, because you saw FTGod got there, but got there like a little bit late. I think that Naga and FTGod wanted to go at the same time, but Naga saw an avenue to go forward and just went in as Kaya on the flank. I don't think Team PEPS knew about that, but Kaya's going to retreat a little bit here, and Naga gets absolutely obliterated. I mean, this Junkrat in these enclosed areas, incredibly hard to deal with.
It's not only just these enclosed areas, it's just sitting on the POV and watching the fluidity of their movement and taking these off angles so rapidly. And FTGod!
Oh, come on, bro!
Oh, no, you didn't! Trap laying in wait in the distance gets another.
They're gonna have nightmares about this Junkrat at this point. Like, this is just a Junkrat who is everywhere on the map. It feels like Team PEPS is playing a horror game where it's like at any point Kaya could just be somewhere and instantly kill you. Like, bam, instantly killed. Perfect trap, takes down Naga, like just immaculately played. And look at that, I mean, they're just trying to just use every single cooldown to take down Kaya, and Kaya's just like, thank you very much, I'm mining away, see ya.
Thank you very much. I'll have another. As the Riptire now comes out. Instantly behind. Kronos is down. FD God forces out the sound barrier here as there are so many locked into the corner. Counter Terror Surge onto FD God. Team Peps right now, with them having a massive time bank and a swift take on the first point, are now looking to dig themselves out of this grave.
I mean, they used everything, though. Like, besides the overclock, that was a fight that was, like, Cronus used his Ant Matrix, like, early in that fight, which is totally fine, but then FD God beats down a member, and then they, like, try and just buy back into this fight, and it doesn't work at all. So now their macro is a little bit cooked here. The good thing is that Hybrid is able to keep overclock so they can use it to create a little bit of space in this scenario, but look at Coolboy with this overclock, or with this Amp Matrix, he should be able to do a good job.
Interesting angle. Not quite as favorable. They want to at least make sure that they can focus onto the choke point here. Just behind that, they easily hold on to this. The overclock yields no value because of it. So again, another ultimate forced out, lost, and 2:30 now on the clock.
Now it's like this, you have to win these through the neutral. It's going to have to come from, like, Naga getting some value. FD God is just over there. Naga.
Oh, Naga.
He's one.
He's a melee away from laying in rest, and there it is, yep. Now the collapse instantly onto Molfig. Nice shot, at least for the rail, so they get something. But Kaya is going to trade back tenfold with another trap! Oh my goodness!
I mean, I don't know what Team Peps, like, has to play this so slow, but Aya is not letting them, right? Like, Aya is saying, like, if you want to, like, try these, like, cute little flanks with FD God and Naga, great, like, we're not going to panic. And I think that's the biggest thing for Aya so far, is that there's not a lot of panic. This time Kaya was a little bit too over-aggressive here, and now this should be a moment where Team Peps can try and go a little bit aggressive.
I mean, but the first time they're playing over-aggressive is already 4 minutes under the time bank. I mean, you're okay if you leave it, but Isaac comes in from the side with a great javelin onto Kronos, and it allows them again to just take the advantage and have a field day with them.
Isaac is cooking as well. I mean, this whole team seems to be firing on all cylinders. Molfig is going to go down here. Naga, it's not going to be long for this world either, and this great time bank that Team Peps had to start things off has been dwindled down to about a minute left, and they haven't made any progress on second. The cart's moving backwards. That's how bad of a situation it is right now. As we can see, the stats from Isaac, I mean, top damage in the lobby, but this is by a significant margin too. No one else is in 5 digits.
No. And now you can see more javelins from behind. Kaya up top, punished for their aggression, but they've taken out the support. And with Molfig separated again, there's no way that FD God can keep them alive.
Team Peps are going to have to find a way to win this fight here. Kaiser is almost taken down low, but actually uses the E to keep himself alive, so the dive doesn't end up working, and Team Peps have 3 ultimates to be able to work with here in this next fight, but they need to win this one, or else they're going to be going down 0-2 in this loser's bracket.
FD God just seeing grenades fly by the dome. As the Terra Surge and Transcendence become active, at least one pick comes through. Hot Babe still here, but since you've lost the Baptiste again, it's that throughput healing that can be so vital for Aya to sustain defensively. As Team Peps start to move this payload for what seems like an eternity ago when they did originally.
And I mean, it's an overtime throw, so they have to be perfect from here on out. Luckily, they do have some key ultimates to work with, and with an assassination onto Kaya, that means no Riptires available to them, so this might be a moment where Team Peps can just create some space, take control back of this game a little bit. Hybrid's going to have the overclock to work with, so will have to respect that incoming damage and the blade too, but it's so hard to blade here because you know the Junkrat Riptire is available, and the second you blade, it's going to be difficult to work with. But here comes the tire out, and actually this...
Oh, okay. They use the Terror Surge, I think, to try and synergize with the Riptire to pull them close enough for it, but unfortunately, the timing and the players were nowhere in sight, and Naga gets 2 with it, specifically onto the support. They have miraculously turned this around. I wasn't sure they'd get to the doorway because of the bridge being such a challenge, but they were able to do both successfully with a team kill.
The placement also just seemed weird there from Isaac using that Terror Surge. It didn't really seem to find anyone. They tried to go for that combo like you mentioned, but it didn't end up working out, and Team Peps are given a new lease on life here. 1 minute to go. through this last phase. Kaiser's going back over to this Mei, which I think is a great decision. Again, in these enclosed areas in third, it's a lot of value, so it should be able to be something that can hinder Team PEP's availability to go forward.
Isaac attempting to get the Javelin, can't quite land it on the Hybrid, goes wide. Amplification Matrix gives massive headway here for Team PEPS, so that gives them another lifeline with 50 seconds to go. Molfig shutting down Kaya again is significant. They've really been able to deny this viability of that Junkrat play, but Icicles still rain from above, continuing to just chip away at the health bars. Molfig attempting to compete against Isaac in front of the payload. Cryo Freeze is active, needed to use defensively. Ooh. Great shot onto Hybrid though, and they are gonna have the Blizzard to lock and isolate this down, specifically onto the payload in these last few seconds. There's the Terror Surge, attempting to hide underneath the front of the ram, but does get booped out, so completely destroyed. In the meantime, final meters, they're looking to collapse it. There's the Amplification Matrix to funnel damage from the spawn position. The Transcendence as a hope and a prayer. The boop knocks them away. 6 seconds to go. They've completely forced them back. It's only 4 seconds left. Team PEPS doesn't have anything to get back in onto this to touch it, and the Blizzard's going to now be tossed into the mix. Reinhardt for the front line, swinging hammer damage. The overtime fades, and oh yeah, are able to come through on this and now put them at a 2-0 map score.
And while, I mean, it felt like at the very end of that map, it seemed like Team PEPS had started to gain their foothold against this composition and punishing Isaac a little bit, or punishing Kaya a little bit more. This has been, oh yeah, having complete and utter control and dominance over these last two maps. I really does not look like Team PEPS has ever really found that foothold, but signs their first offense. It's been all yeah, all the time.
And we can look at some wondrous replays here. I have a feeling it's mainly Kaya.
Yeah, I mean, this
whole time.
But like everyone on oh yeah is playing so well. Isaac is playing extremely well on this Orisa. I think top lobby in damage, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 14k. Yeah. The next highest is Molfig on the other side with 12k, but I think that this has just been a complete performance from this oh yeah team, which is a team where it's like, you know, there's a lot of those solo plays coming in from Kaya and some of these members, but it feels like they all trust each other to an extent where they're going to be able to say like, hey, yeah, we know Kaya's going to go in, be a little bit aggressive. We're totally fine with that. We don't mind. We have faith that Kaya will at least be able to trade 1-for-1.
And Team PEPS, again, there's glimmers that occur every now and again. They're able to find their footing, but unfortunately just can't be fully planted. It's just these moments where you see Molfig getting advantage, Naga, again, really able to read that play when it came to the Blade, and just some of these random picks as well that come in, even outside of Kaya, just Kaiser as well, who's getting great Icicle pickups. Everything just denying points of entry for Team PEPS.
And just like even the decision to swap to the Mei there at the very end, right? Like just knowing that like Wall and those Icicles are gonna be able to potentially find pay dirt is something that like tells me that like oh yeah is really much thinking about like how to, you know, really put the pressure onto Team PEPS. And I feel like that's kind of been the name of the series so far, is the pressure, right? The pressure of Isaac on this Orisa, the pressure of the Junkrat, right? All of these things are just exuding so much mental RAM of Team PEPS that they seem like they've never had their footing. And going into halftime, I mean, they're gonna need to figure out a way to get back into this one, because remember, it is that loser's bracket. They're down 0-2. It's match point. I mean, they're gonna need to have the best orange slices in Capri Sun possible to try and get back and reverse sweep this one.
And we'll see if they're able to find a solution or a tactic that's able to do so as we head to a short break. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be able to see if they're able to muster the strength to come back into this.
You like solving problems. Problems like how to stop that Tracer from deleting your backline. I know just what you're thinking. You'll bring a turret. But y'all can't solve all your problems by simply bringing an extra friend to the battlefield. For that, you need the Contenders Torbjorn skin. Solve your problems by connecting your Battle.net account to Twitch. After that, watching Overwatch Contenders Summer Series will contribute to your drops progress, letting you claim your Overwatch Contenders Torbjorn skin. Even your turret gets an upgrade. Warning, the Overwatch Contenders Torbjorn skin does not come with extra or upgraded turrets. Build instructions will not be provided. By picking Torbjorn, you waive a claim towards any destroyed turrets. No refunds, no exchanges, and no take-backsies.
We're back, and even though yeah might have a frowny face, they're feeling pretty happy right now that they are up 2-0. But before we talk a little bit more about what we're going to be going into this next potentially third and final map for these two teams, we have a little bit of a bracket update for you, don't we, Kenobi?
Yeah, we do see what's going on in the bracket. We can fill it out a little bit more as we get towards the top teams that are going to be going into next week, the top 4. As we can see, Team PEPS down 0-2 against yeah, but also SRP check just with a clean 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this SRP check team is a team I would consider them like a dark horse if they aren't already, because of the fact that like in like a region where like Reinhardt seems to thrive really heavily, and LH Cloudy is an insanely good Reinhardt, and the rest of the team around him is good as well. I mean, I think that like this SRP check team is one that needs to be looked at as being like someone that could get like top 3 or even go to the grand finals, right? I think that that's definitely something that we have to keep an eye on going forward with that team. But we still have a series here between yeah and Team PEPS, and hopefully for Team PEPS, I mean, they figured out a way to calm themselves a little bit, get their footing back, because they are down 0-2. They need to have a reverse sweep here to keep themselves in this tournament, and I think this is a great decision of where to go next. It is going to be Circuit Royale as our escort map, which I think is great, because what it does is it gets Mulfig onto an off tank, which is I think is going to be something that's going to be really great for them, is being able to put Mulfig onto that Sigma. That's something that can really, really benefit them in like having an ability to have that stalwart presence in that front line and not get completely run over by an Orisa, because we talked actually yesterday, I forget who it was, with Dupree, I think, or Derpy, I think it was, in NA, and it was like, oh yeah, Sigma is one of the counters to Orisa, so I think putting Mulfig in a position where the Sigma can come out against Orisa would be a great benefit to this team.
Well, and we talk about benefits and seeing that dynamic, which has been discussed. We can take a look now at the substitutes that are coming in, both Love and Necro. So now we're going to be talking about how this adjustment and read on what potentially Mulfig's going to bring to the table. These two significant players going to be entering into the mix could also be that detriment to Team PEPS, because they're having to get used to this, trying to compete against it, and what value they can bring to combat against it.
I mean, they're probably thinking, though, like, oh, we don't have to see Junkrat anymore.
That's true.
That's probably
true.
What they're thinking.
That's
they're just like, oh, yeah, we don't have to see Junkrat anymore. I'm totally fine with that. But Love and Necros, not anything to shake a stick at in terms of their DPS prowess. So I think that it's going to be an interesting look for this yeah team going to a map like this where they aren't going to be able to play kind of the same style they've been playing in those first 2 maps. And this might be, I mean, where Team PEPS can have that momentum to start going for that reverse sweep. It has to be perfect from them from here on out, but this is a pretty good place to start, taking yeah off of what has been so successful for them in these past 2 series. And I mean, to the point where I feel like it's been immensely successful, where Team PEPS haven't really had an ability to load into the server a lot of the time.
No, and hopefully this is the moment where they had gone from dial-up to like, what's that one that's like the
Gigabit.
the star one that's like above us, that's like digital streaming, where like you don't actually have to like connect via wire. It's the
Starlink?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
That one. Yeah. I mean, I figured that's like the newest and like probably craziest way of getting the internet.
Say gigabit. It's easier to.
Fine, I'll say gigabit. I'm just gonna give in. Oh, okay. All right, Team PEPS. Let's bring it to the table.
They're gonna close hold here. I think the idea would be to maybe close hold or just hold at the corner. I mean, close hold on this map is a little bit tricky because of the fact that you have like so many avenues to exit the spawn with, but I mean, if you can wall one of them and then just like on the other side like set up a bunch of sim turrets, it's like not a terrible option for this Team PEPS team, is again needing to win from here on out to be able to stay alive in this tournament. Actually, gonna keep you on the high ground. I mean, this isn't bad. Like, Mulfig's gonna be able to live pretty long here.
We'll see how looks to react. Adjusting to the hog, looking for the hook, goes right for FD God, and Love gets the pick home.
Oh no!
Everything's in shambles. It's melting in front of their eyes. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Okay.
I mean, if you ever want to like learn how to like break defense, like a very close hold defense, there it is. That's just the perfect way to do it right there. 2 shots from Love, great hook from. I mean, the Roadhog is like a fantastic pick, I think, in a scenario like this, right? Because Team PEPS wants to stay as like a ball together, and just one of the ways to pull those threads is just to bring a Roadhog to the table. And they're actually not swapping off of it at all, so is going to keep rolling with this composition. They're going to put Love back onto the Hanzo to offer a little bit more of that's, potential to break those shields, but all in all, good start for
You can see a little bit of the synergy attempted to come through by Hybrid with the teleporter, but unfortunately, it's instantly shut down. So there's no way that Molfig can get out, and it just leaves them vulnerable to be capitalized on. Thankfully, at least that transition up onto the high ground was a little bit more light in distance, so they can maneuver and regroup again. Immortality Field has already been committed. They've capitalized on this high ground, so they can continue to try and deal damage from this on-high position, but eventually resort back to their standard position around the corner. And you can see Isaac playing and throttling forward. Couple of decent shots onto Hybrid. Bolt Nugget. Well, now it's just in shambles. Everything's falling apart.
Yeah. I mean, the second that Molfig goes down there, it's just the fight's like just completely over, right? The Roadhog can just basically do whatever he wants through that fight. I don't even think there's a way for a contest here to happen, specifically with how aggressive is playing right now. And I mean, this is again a team that just looks like they're completely on one. This looks like they might try to go and contest, but there's no way back into that. And Team PEPS are looking down the barrel of a 3-0 right here, Rich. It's not looking great.
And Hot Babes in an off angle, looking for the Discord. The blade becomes active. Even the whole hog just completely putting shrapnel through Hybrid. And now with 4 minutes, they can work their way up this ramp and look for the bend as long as they finalize the last couple here.
I mean, if you're Team PEPS, luckily you were able to get out 2 key ultimates there. I mean, the Genji blade is the biggest one. Whole hog's like kind of a whatever ultimate. In this composition, though, it's not bad. Like, to be able to, in such a brawly style of composition, just have that whole hog and just break Brine Shield really quickly in scenarios like that. Team PEPS can come back into this one in these kind of like close counter areas in the streets phase. Blizzard could get a lot of value, and here comes the Photon Barrier.
Nice division for the moment. Dragon Strike through the main street position. No picks of it. Naga at least gets rid of Isaac, which is very important. Following up on the remaining few. Love's just going to be here doing as much as they can, but will be capitalized on. So this is the first moment of relief that Team PEPS is going to get.
And that's great for Team PEPS, I think, macro-wise for them in this fight, right? They just used the Photon Barrier and the Sound Barrier. They're able to keep a lot of their other key ones, like that Blizzard, and they're going to be a bit aggressive here. And Matrix committed from but look at the aggression from Team PEPS. They're going beyond it.
Yep, they want to try and put insult to injury. They do get the shatter onto Isaac, but that's really the only one they maximize on, and Naga gets a side angle, but Love's going to come in and turns it around.
Love is just getting Love is killing everyone. And then also, I mean, Hot Babe's going to go down, but Love has gotten 5 kills. It's an ace for Love. And throughout all of that, they're just like, sweet, you guys are like going so aggressive. We're just going to go to the cart and start pushing it forward, and I think Team PEPS will get a recontest here, and luckily they have a Blizzard, and in this area, it should get a lot of value, but there's a Transcendence from Hotbabe that should be able to blanket a lot of that incoming damage.
Oh, Dragon Strike right into the doorway. That's going to deny them access to the point for the brief moment. They still have just a small margin of time to contest it with under 5 meters. The blade, nice. Instant elimination here from out the gate onto FD God. Kronos attempting to try and turn this around, but again, there is so much reliance on the healing that has to come through. It's just not going to come fast enough. Molfig is picked up, and this is again Team PEPS just crumbling under the weight that is
Necros is schmoovin' and grooving right now. Photon Barrier committed. They're trying to bring this one back. Wow. Is the car going to be? They actually get pushed off by the whole hog, and oh no! I mean, that's just unfortunate. I mean, really good heads-up play from Isaac to be able to use that whole hog to push them off, but Team PEPS really wanted to keep this one if they would have had the chance.
Yep. And, you get commented about not the significant amount of damage sometimes when it comes from the whole hog, but in moments like those, the utility that it can bring on a payload is much more valuable.
I mean, it's interesting. We talked about, like, kind of how the meta hasn't settled at all yet, but that's a nice anti-nade onto Molfig. Necros gets a nice dash through, and what a beautiful hook.
The Immortality Field buys a hot second of time necessary with that sound barrier to commit, and that will be Team PEPS again. They finally are able to time everything perfectly. They sustain through it and now have a team kill and are going to once again go right to the spawn doors.
And I actually like this decision-making from Team PEPS where they're trying to hold these aggressive angles. If they could just stay alive a little bit longer than they have been in the past, I think it's good for them to be able to create that time with this Reinhardt.
And we'll see now whether the hammer or the javelin supersedes the other. Hack now onto the front. Love instantly going to get blown up by Hybrid, so this close hold is yielding value, especially when you've got the amplification matrix, and Molfig just rotating door to door.
Yeah, Molfig is just walking around right now as the Reinhardt Shatter over to him. Needs to be careful not to be over aggressive and expect that damage coming in from the entirety of the team, especially with that Discord orb, but Nano Blade is available here from Oh Yeah.
See if they commit it fully. Necros waiting patiently. They just need to break this position. The teleporter gets them out, so that buys some space, and that's where Isaac's gonna play forward, zoning them away. Necros needs to be cautious, though, because there is still some chip damage coming through. The deflect forced out very early in that to make sure they sustain. Nano Blade does come through, punchy, but stunned and denied. They're hyper-focusing Necros and will not allow him to gain anything from this, but Love just still pushes the payload. They're all focusing that doorway, so at least gets a little bit more distance, and Love gets out with 18.
I mean, an absolutely fantastic shatter, though, from Molfig, knowing that exactly need to hit that Genji more so than anything else. Transcendence committed here. Oh, yeah, still wants to fight.
And they gain something out of this. Oh, yeah, approaching the EMP, 20% and reducing. Now, with the Blizzard, locking down multiple members, icicles to the domes, and Isaac was going to attempt to collapse onto Naga, but Isaac won't be long for this world if they continue to focus down that Fortify.
Yeah, healing able to come in and keep Naga alive throughout all of that, and 45 seconds left is all that Oh Yeah have here, but EMP is going to be available, and in this cluster that Team PEPS is going to be playing in, it could get a lot of it. You need to be looking at FD God here. FD God needs to be able to dodge this EMP and stay alive to blanket the rest of the team with that sound barrier for Team PEPS to have a chance to win this.
And Love looking to get such a maximum outcome, 3 in total. FD God and Kronos hit by the... but they're still going to survive through it. Nice recovery. Molfig getting manually hacked afterwards for the moment. Has to look for a retreating charge. Vortex keeps them slowed and isolated and no ability to maneuver out of it fast enough, so they're still in the sight lines. The overtime is proc. They're doing enough damage. They've actually eliminated Isaac despite them using that defensive proc. Overtime commencing. Can Necros get there in time? They've been knocked back with the boot, but still keep it contested. There's too much of a distance. The Wrecking Ball even looking to try and bolo them back, and that will be a reduction in time as we do see the mark set for Team PEPS on their attack.
It looked like it was a great start for Oh Yeah, but no one really focused on Hybrid, who was just getting so supercharged up. Those turrets in that chaotic fight, getting so much value and taking down a lot of key members and slowing them as well. That's another thing that you have to remember, is that turret slow is one of the, I think, worst feeling things to play against. And in this area, like under that car wash, it's just even worse. So really good heads-up play from Hybrid to be able to stay alive and maneuver that fight effectively, to be able to stay alive long enough throughout it and charge up. So, Oh Yeah, I mean, a pretty decent attack for them. But Team PEPS, it's not a, unwinnable scenario for them. It's basically get halfway through third, and you're going to be able to take us to a map.
And now as we get to take a look at Oh Yeah with their defense, Love gonna bring some love with the Torbjorn. The Swede himself, as that turret is gonna be looking to dish out some decent damage, and I guarantee you Love's gonna look for a hammer kill. I am guaranteeing you that is going to be unpocketed from the toolbox.
I mean, we saw a couple in NA, I think, yesterday.
I know, and that's why I think EU's got to step up the game.
I mean, hey, look, we gotta level things out here. I think it's definitely a possibility if they can, get to a fight that ends up devolving a little bit here. But Team PEPS not switching too much in terms of their composition. And for Oh Yeah, I mean, I like the kind of, as much as I really like Baptiste in this scenario, I do like the switch over to Cool Boy on this Ana, because I think one of the things that's really, really strong is if the TP comes through and Ana can just hit an anti-nade directly onto it, it completely ruins Team PEPS. And even if you don't get kills, if you force out things like Immortality Field, like, that's already a win.
You can see that maneuver up top. No Bionade this time around, but a great wall to separate Isaac. The defenses start to come through, but they can't withstand the damage, so that is an early take here, and gonna give a lot of space around this corner.
Yeah, okay, Orisa, so I said I like the Ana, and now I'm thinking that, like, Orisa may be buffed. Maybe she's just not that buffed to be able to just, like, live against all that upfront damage with just a Zenyatta and an Ana healing you. And actually, oh yeah, switching things up, bringing in the Bastion, who recently got buffed very heavily, but also the disruption of the Hammond, and how are Team PEPS going to deal with this one?
We'll see if they have enough adaptation to counteract against it. They go right in up top, but still keep 2 down below to contest and keep this cart moving. But oh yeah, is able to draw close enough down below to keep it contested, denying the checkpoint to be reached. Trades back and forth. You can even see that Hybrid's just continuing to try and give that teleporter to get close enough to take down Love, who's still just deleting those that are close enough.
Trying to get back into this fight, but it's only Naga and the 2 healers that are left. So eventually, Molfield will return, but there's not a lot of healing left here for... Oh, yeah, Cronus is taken out. They need to be careful not to C9.
There's the Blizzard. Love moves up far enough, but they've walked into the waking, frigid snow globe. And Isaac getting nanoed buys them just enough time and health to keep that contested. Still 2.34 meters. Everything from Oh Yeah is just focused onto this objective to deny them from reaching the checkpoint and continuing to reduce the time bank.
I mean, Cool Boy is still alive, just trying to pocket Isaac as much as they can here. FD God with the Soundberry should give the sustainability if needed, but I think Team PEPS aren't going to need any more else. They should be able to take this one.
What an immortality field to keep Hybrid alive, as you did get the stick from Love on the high ground and also withstand the damage. There is a great turnabout from Team PEPS and have 4 minutes to work with up this ramp.
And this is a great place to have such a high time bank. We're going to be able to kind of move yourself through it. Oh yeah, trying to just cause as much disruption as possible here in these scenarios. You can look at the stats for FD God, who has been everywhere, it feels like, in this map so far. And with the Soundberry and with Amplification Matrix, it's going to make it even harder for, oh yeah, to make this engagement.
Ultimate active. You can hear the rockets come from on high with a great synergy stun. There is the cryo freeze, though. Nobody else was inside of it. And you've got a blade to come in from Necros. It is a DPS onslaught. They will look to just shut down Molfig. The pin comes in, but you had Isaac with just a sliver of health that's able to be capitalized on by Naga. But they've still stemmed the bleeding for now.
That combo is so strong. The pile driver into just the artillery barrage. There's no counterplay to it unless you have like any type of cooldowns like a May Blizzard. If you're just a lonely, support in the backline, it's just a guaranteed insta-kill. And I love that, oh yeah, he's thinking about it like that, where it's like, hey, if we can just get at least one with a combination of ultimates, we think that we're going to be able to take that advantage and really aggress ourselves. And now here come Team PEPS trying to recontest, but they're already so low. Immortality field committed.
Pile drive with the dash from Necros. That was, again, another extremely tactical dynamic to play with, but unfortunately, Isaac does go down. The wall denies access for healing, so they have to relinquish space right now for this next checkpoint, and the TP, again, brings Molfig aggressively to that other side doorway.
He needs to be careful, though. Doesn't want to aggress too hard here against this team, especially with the Zenyatta damage that's potentially there, as there's the Discord Orb on him. Molfig's getting taken down incredibly low. Immortality field is greatly placed over Cronus.
Transcendence coming back in from Oh Yeah to sustain onto the cart to make sure that it is played defensively and denies contention, but this Blizzard... Oh my goodness, it denies it. They're unable to get and knock down, but everybody else steps up. Even though Molfig is down, Team PEPS come in and persevere.
For Team PEPS, 3.5 minutes for them, just to basically get halfway through this point. And to be honest, with where they are, they have a respawn advantage. They don't really have anything in terms of ultimates, but oh yeah, already used their nano, which means that Nano Blade is not going to be available in this next fight. Isaac actually going over to the Doomfist just to try and switch things up, but Hotbait is taken out, and that means the Zenyatta isn't here, and you've lost a lot of your upfront damage.
You also don't have that extra reassurance of putting the Harmony Orb onto Isaac if they do go in. Love now looking to take this high ground, does have the ultimate available. The chase comes through. Is there enough damage? No! They're going to completely exploit that separation from the team. Oh yeah, attempting to recover. Isaac at least gets one alongside Necros, but this is still an opportunity here for Team PEPS with a closer spawn.
Don't have Cronus, though, so they're going to need to get that one back in time. As here comes their artillery barrage, where it's going to be focusing down onto a good TP, gets him into the back line and takes down Cool Boy.
Can Molfig get out? There's a beautiful immortality field. It gives them enough time. Not a chance as Isaac goes down. FD God gets another execution. They want to bring this into a reverse sweep situation. They are just a 2-meter distance away. Nobody touches in time. And you will be able to see Team PEPS not go down without a fight.
And that's good for Team PEPS. That's momentum that you need to try and make this reverse sweep happen. And it's on a map that definitely favored their play style, and having swap over to things that weren't really, they didn't have as much success on as they did in those first 2 maps. But overall, I mean, this is a much better looking Team PEPS. They look a little bit more coordinated. They didn't really let the disruption of like the Hammond and all that hinder them down too much. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is that when they had a lot of those disruptions come into, like, with the Hammond, with the Bastion, and things like that, they never really got, like, too scared, right? They looked like they had everything under control, and that's something that the control is something I didn't see a lot from in those first 2 maps. Now it looks like they're a much more well-oiled machine, working as all of a unit of 5, and as we see probably swap over to back to Kaya onto a map of push that's going to favor their playstyle a little bit more. We'll see if that continues to go over.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing, is now the ball is back in the court of they get to pick a map that could be more favorable to them. And it looks like we actually have a lightning fast confirmation from They know exactly where they want to take this.
Yeah, Esperanza is where we're going to be going, and a lightning fast sub as well. We're going to be seeing Kaiser and Kaya be put back into this lineup, so potentially the Junkrat comes back into this. And this is interesting to me, because I wonder what the meta looks like on this map in particular, because this is a map where it's like Winston was really heavily played in Ramatra too, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Reinhardt can be piloted on a map like this. What is Isaac going to be playing? Orisa also probably is going to be... I think this is probably a map where it's like the standard is going to be played more so than anything else.
And you can see, again, those 2 subbing back in. I cannot wait. I want more Junkrat. I just want more.
Why are you? Why?
It's because you make fun of me for being an Orisa one trick. The only other player, they're the only other hero that I ever go for.
I don't make fun of you for it. You just are one. I don't make fun of you.
Okay, you're correct. I will commend you for that. I'm not gonna lie about that. But Junkrat is the only thing that I enjoy playing because of the chaos, and that's what Kaya brings. So I kind of live vicariously at this level of competition through Kaya whenever I want.
It's wild because you play the 2 antitheses of heroes, where it's like Orisa, probably one of the most boring heroes you can play, and then the other end of it's like, you can play Junkrat. It's like, those are 2 vastly different things.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something. I guess it's the grenades and the javelin. I don't know. Those are like the synergies. I guess they both are projectile, and somehow I don't know.
I'll let you have that one, but
Thank
you are that's a stretch Armstrong.
I'm gonna stretch as much as I can. I need it. My lumbar's killing me. But yes, we do have this next map, which again we're really looking forward to seeing what it is. And like you had mentioned, so used to seeing interesting compositions when it comes to the Winston and these Sombras, but now going into it with the massive shifts that have happened, I'm really, really excited to see what's going to be brought to the forefront ultimately, because realistically, can just have a field day. They've got such a wide selection of hero options.
And I wonder if Junker Queen is something that we'll see, because you've seen Isaac pilot it before, and this is a map that does you can play Junker Queen on it. I think obviously I would be trending towards something like Orisa being played more so than anything else, but we do have the subs. It is going to be Kaya and Kaiser in the lineup coming in, so that tells me obviously Junkrat going to be more so the thing that I'm expecting. May is potentially in some of these areas of the map playable, but I think also you could just say Torbjorn is another option, especially on a map like this where you can set up that turret for those crossfires and be very effective that way. So we'll see what will bring to the table. But again, from Team PEPS, the control that I saw and the lack of disintegration in terms of their comm structure, it felt like, that I saw in the first 2 maps. If that can continue from the 3rd map, the really good ones that they had, then I think they have a chance of taking this to a map 5, and then in map 5, anything can happen.
Absolutely. And we will see. The moment is now. One of these teams are going to be sent packing. Out the gate, managing to take 2 very convincing maps. But Team PEPS now bolstering their morale to see if they are able to make this reverse sweep actually happen. And we have seen a lot of map 5s yesterday, and I would love to see one go again here in this 3rd match for EU.
Yeah, not as many today. It feels like...
No, it was
with where we looked at in the bracket update, it's a lot of 3-0s I'm seeing.
Yeah, right? Did you ever play an instrument?
I played trumpet, and I played bass.
Wait, did you really? I played trombone, so we were both at least the trumpet E.
I really wish though that I had played saxophone. Saxophone is like a super cool instrument.
See, I would have loved that too. See, violin I think would have been super hard for me. I really, really wanted to play the drums, but none of my family would allow me.
So hard.
None of my family would allow me, so I tap all the time.
It's just like a tick for you.
Compulsive tapper. It's terrible.
T-Peps come out on this composition, right? This is kind of standard what we've seen from them so far. I love that we're bringing Naga back in onto the Genji, because if Aya is going to be playing this composition with the Zenyatta, Genji here can get some nice flanks into that backline and try and get those assassinations. Because if you can take down Hot Babe, you can take away a lot of the pressure that's going to be onto Molfig in this tank matchup.
And then you just see the grenades fly from on high, just in the top right, just bobbing and weaving around him from Kaya. As the progression begins. Nice javelin. Kaya gets one with the concussion mine, with Naga sweeping into the backside. There is at least a rail shot to get 1 for 1. What a javelin to put them way out of position, so that gives a chance for Isaac to regroup close enough so that they can overwhelm Molfig, who barely gets covered by the Immortality Field. Great timing again from Kronos, just so necessary for them to keep this going. So the meterage doesn't continue to accumulate, and now they're going to play a little bit more defensively until they can find the best angle.
Hybrid here is going to try and duel here against Hot Babe, but the Immortality Field is so good, and Hybrid, I think, might lose this, but actually is able to win it out with the help coming in from FD God, and finally, Team Peps are going to wrangle back control here, it looks like, and should be able to start getting some meterage themselves.
Yep, able to stop them just under the bridgeway, holding strong. That gives them the chance to get into the same, probably a little bit more. If they can bypass this underpass and keep this high ground is going to be necessary.
They'll keep the high ground, but I think there should be a contest coming out from Aya here eventually. I mean, it will be hard, though, because Kronos has Ant Matrix, and Ant Matrix is going to do a lot to just stop them from going forward here. That's going to be the thing that really gets them over the hump.
Funneling into that choke point is necessary to already bypass, looking to take that high ground challenge. Kaiser and Kaya sticking close. Immortality Field keeps Hybrid alive. Concussion mine's a little bit short from across the bridge. Hybrid has really stepped up here and gotten multiple picks that are absolutely necessary to turn this around, with the assistance of FD God sticking close by.
Great understanding from Team Peps. Like, the second they win that fight, they're just like, we're all going to go to the high ground, and we're going to make it so difficult for Aya to try and get to us, because we know that there's only really 3 ways that they can get through, and that's how you can do a great job of keeping control of Kaya, right? If you can, like, kind of just check where Kaya is coming from, you can take away a lot of the surprise factor that's been the value Kaya has been getting throughout the series so far.
Just denies the checkpoint being reached in contention. Isaac making sure of that. Oh my gosh, Molfig's so low. Great wall. Not enough damage to follow up onto it. The Ant Matrix is committed into this, but Molfig's just getting out of dodge instantly. Does not want to be lost in this fight. And they're happy to give this ground. The overclock is active. Gets 1. There's the second onto Hot Babe. Can't leave yourself vulnerable. Goes for a third, but just tucks the corner. Immortality Field committed. This is an easy take here for Team Peps, feeling very confident on this map and continue to feel confident.
And this is the hybrid, I think, that we've been missing so far from this Team Peps team. He's really started to pick it up these last couple of maps here. Has a, really good stat line so far in this map in particular, but if hybrid can continue to really pop off and put the pressure down onto the enemy DPS, that's going to be something that can help them. But obviously, Caster Curse from me as Hot Babe's able to take down hybrid, and finally, we'll be able to get back control of this point. But Team Peps are going to still try and fight as best as they can here.
I do like this adjustment, though, on to the Kiriko. You do get a little bit more of that partner damage. You can also have that mobility. There's so much value that's brought with this adjustment, and I like that it happens now.
Yeah, and I think also the thing about it is you have some assassination potential, and Hot Babe, has been great on the Zenyatta. Aim seems to be there, needs to be careful here not to get taken down, but swift step away, and Peps are going to try and recontest here, but here comes the Junkrat Tire.
Reptire looking for the counter on the blade, but they are so far away. It actually still gets it! Able to deny Naga from following through onto that. Trades galore in the kill feed, and it's going to still, in the end, focus a lot on hybrid and cleaning up.
Alright, gets taken down, and this is a completely new Team Peps, I feel like, what we've seen in these last 2 maps. I said at the halftime, they need to get the best Capri Sun and Orange Slice as money can buy, and it feels like they've done exactly that. They are in such a great position right now to take this to a map 5. Oh yeah, switching Taser over towards that Torbjorn just to offer a little bit more of that frontline spam potential with the buffs that the Torbjorn has gotten. But I love what Team PEPS have been doing throughout all of this. They've just been taking as much as they can with the meterage and then just pulling back, utilizing that high ground to their advantage. Just works so well for them to just really play this effectively macro-wise.
Yeah, tremendous understanding of this ebb and flow, doing absolutely what is necessary to bring this into a map 5 hybrid again with a rail shot onto Cool Boy, just taking these initial shots. The Kitsune Rush is active, but there's no real opportunity to utilize it to its fullest, and Team PEPS just are happy to give ground and fall back until it dissipates.
I mean, the high ground has just been so good, but there it finally is. Kaya goes up, alley-oops from the top rope, is able to take down hybrid, and now finally Ilios should be able to move forward with that high ground lost, as Kaya is going to left unabated here.
Regrouping down underneath. Isaac trying to hold the line. Couple of concussion mines being tossed out into the high ground. Suzu cleanses and tops up Kaya. As this is now 80 meters still accumulated for Team PEPS, and Aya has quite a ways to go.
We're getting taken down extremely low, but is able to stay alive. Overclock is going to be available soon, but Isaac is going aggressive here, trying to take down members of that high ground, but nice push from Mulfig.
Arrow Surge being active pulls them. Oh no, it actually didn't get to pull in. Yes, beautifully done. Now with Kronos in the back getting collapsed onto. What a concussion mine, and the turret fire as well across the bridge. Oh yeah, now makes a big opening for them to get to this checkpoint.
I mean, that was a great immortality, but an even better spear from Isaac, just taking down hybrid, insta-killing them, knowing that that overclock was really going to be the thing that could bring Team PEPS back into that fight. And we'll see if Team PEPS is even going to be able to get a recontest with how aggressive Aya are posturing. I'm not sure Team PEPS will be able to do so, but actually Mofig's coming in. There is the Terror Surge available.
So close, the Molten Core going to zone them away. The checkpoint is reached. That is a massive weight off their shoulders, but the Riptire now coming in. Oh, nice spear spin damage onto it. Denies that opportunity of getting Molfig extremely low. Now, Kitsune Rush active again. Hot Babe looking to try and gain much more value this time around, as you basically see Kaiser just riveting for their lives, with Molfig getting a great Terror Surge onto Cool Boy. This will be an easy cleanup now for Team PEPS, but again, it's one checkpoint gained at least for yeah for a return with 3 minutes to go.
They are going to at least have that, and with, I mean, if they can stop Team PEPS from getting a little bit more like meterage, yeah, very easily, if they can like win a couple of fights outright, they can take back this map. But the problem for them is that Rich, their macro is not looking great right now, and there's only 2.5 minutes left. By the time we get to like a minute, they'll have another ultimate rotation, but Team PEPS is in the driver's seat, especially again because they have control of this high ground. But you can see actually, you can see Cool Boy and Kaya are trying to take it away, but Kaya being taken down incredibly low here, needs to be careful and respect that damage.
There's also a really wide angle that Hybrid is taking across the bridgeway. It's basically flipped on its head. Kaya's going hyper-aggressive, 42 HP and continuing to dwindle. Molten Core gets 2 for Team PEPS?
That was an absolutely unreal Molten Core. Unreal Molten Core from Naga there. I mean, even though Naga gives his life, that might be one of the best Molten Cores I've seen, just completely blanketing it down and not giving an escape avenue for the entirety of the yeah team. And now, with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, Rich, yeah have to play this completely perfectly from here on out. There is no room for error, or else we're going to a map 5.
Very dire right now. Yeah, we've seen pull off miraculous feats though, but Hybrid, when you're on this kind of tear and the juice is flowing, it doesn't matter. 1-for-1 trade though. Nice return, at least for Kaya. Will they be able to gain their composure? Team PEPS going to escape. The swift step to get close. They want FD God, and they get it.
This is the last stretch here, the final turn. Cool Boy is taken down, though. That's a big pick, because that means that you've lost a lot of that AoE healing here. It feels like yeah need to make aggressive plays here to try and secure some kills.
What a concussion mine. Repositioning Naga up top, actually, might have been more of a benefit than a disadvantage. Playing up top, turrets have been positioned. Hot Babe sticking close to the team as they wait and anchor here for another engagement with 50 seconds to go.
Oh, this high ground here, but Team PEPS doesn't want to give it away for free. They eventually will have to relent. Isaac looking for something potentially with this Terror Surge.
Fortify active, no longer have it. Molfig down below, underneath. The Fortify buys some time. The Javelin denied. Isaac extremely low. The Terra Surge gets the protection and pulls them close. Hybrid is down. Cool Boy is there. Oh yeah, gets the fight. And now they need to look for the next one. But they've only committed 2 ultimates. Cool Boy needs to get back into this, and Kaya has the Riptire.
And actually, with the fact that they've gotten that checkpoint, like you mentioned earlier, Rich, this boss is just going to continuously move forward, and we're going to have one last final fight here at the very death. The Junkrat Tire from Kaya, it's not gotten the same amount of value it's gotten in previous maps so far, but Team Peps have a huge ultimate bank economy if they can just dodge this tire. This tire could be everything for all, yeah.
Patience is a virtue now. Kaya finding a direct avenue to their success. The distance continuing to close. The turret in the back. A few seconds to go. It does get damaged, but it's a little bit farther away. The Immortality Field keeps them alive. Overtime is active. Just 10 meters to go. That's all that remains here for All to not allow this to go into a map 5. But Team Peps put lava on the floor. The floor is lava. Isaac is going to get covered, but is knocked out by the spear spin. They don't have the Fortify. Team Peps force them back, and they bring it into a map 5.
Team Peps try to get this reverse sweep and have taken it the distance to a map 5. An impeccably placed Immortality Field from Cronus. If that Immortality Field isn't there, Team Peps get knocked out of the tournament. It was absolutely perfectly, patiently played from this Baptiste player, and Team Peps are given a chance to complete a reverse sweep here and continue through the bracket.
And that's been an overarching topic that I've said on occasion, where the patience and presence of mind from Cool Boy have been so significant to get that, but like in the same time you can see Cronus doing the same thing here, starting to elevate themselves. The Baptiste play was so on point and absolutely vital for that success.
I mean, speaking of elevating themselves, everyone I feel like on Team Peps has started to elevate themselves. Hybrid, this is the best Hybrid has played throughout 4 maps. I mean, at one point was deadlifting the team, but this has just been Team Peps, I think, from those first 2 maps, the fact that they're able to get to a point like this where they were being so soundly beaten. I mean, let's not mince words. Those first 2 maps, Team Peps, you could argue, didn't even load into the lobby, but these last 2, they've been putting up a hell of a fight and really hindering. Oh yeah, Kaya has not gotten the same amount of value. It seems like Team Peps, the control I talked about that they needed to have, finally is starting to come back, and now going into a map 5, they get a chance to complete a reverse sweep.
Ooh, the blood pressures rise, and I can feel the tension starting to weigh onto they felt probably very confident after that second map, but the break point was taking those few minutes for the mindset to be settled of Team Peps. Take that victory onto Eichenwald and have just enough strength within them to bring this to this map 5. But we're going to head to a short break before seeing that final map of the day, at least for EU, so don't go anywhere, friends.
Oh, hello, Fancy Meeting you here. It's so nice to see ya. Are you ready to survive the wastelands? Then you'll need to bring your shotgun, your axe, and of course, your knife. For your sharp wit, if you get my drift. Hey, whoa. Hold on there. Don't forget to pick up your Overwatch Contenders Junker Queen skin. Yeah, gearing up is as easy as connecting your Battle.net account to Twitch. And after that, watching the Overwatch Contender Summer Series will contribute to your drop progression, letting you claim your own wasteland-ready Overwatch Contenders Junker Queen skin. Oh, that's right. It's time to rampage. Now, get out there and slay with the Overwatch Contenders Junker Queen skin. Okay, take care now. See you in chat.
We're back, friends! It's a map 5, and Kenobi, it kind of feels good to have it back, doesn't it?
Yeah, we got a road trip back. I mean, after yesterday where we had like I think we had a 3-0 and a 3-1. So now we're back with our full powers of giving map 5s and giving all of you out there those lovely skins. We've taken it back from the other two caster duos and go to a map 5 here. Lijiang Tower is where we're going to be going to, and I think it makes sense that like this is where we end things, because I think this is a map where the sub-maps are going to be really important here. Like, are we going to be seeing those sub-maps that like really favor that Junker Queen play? There is that rush style of compositions. Like if we want to see the Mei Symmetra coming out from this Team PEPS team, if you get Control Center, that's something that I think Team PEPS really wants to roll more so than anything else. So we'll see. The sub-maps, I think, will determine a lot in terms of what we see and who's going to come out and continue through this losers bracket.
And there's no other way that I would have it. Like, when we're going to a map 5 in a losers bracket where they have everything to fight for, and then you kind of leave it to RNG, I feel like I'm rolling for a Neltharion trinket in Aberrus right now and never getting it. So I'm hoping that one of these teams is going to get their loot roll.
I mean, yeah, hopefully, you know, I remember back when I was like playing WoW, I would suck at loot rolls. So like, sometimes I was just like, sometimes I would just be like, I'm not even gonna bother. I know it's bad. Someone's just gonna take it over me. But
it's so bad. It's and then especially like if you ever roll like a 94, like a 95, and you're like, yeah, that's mine.
Someone got a 99. It's just like every time.
Or 100 roll, and you're just like, why life? Like why? Why did I even bother throwing that good roll into anything? But
or it's something that's BIS, and you're just like, oh, it's a 1. Oh, great, thank you.
Yeah, 1 or 2. You know, maybe it's like, oh, hey, we're going to give you like a little bit of something, but no. But yes, these two teams, I mean, Team PEPS, we really have to give them credit. And like you mentioned, the first two maps look drastically different in their performance than what we've seen in these last two, and the way that they have been able to really elevate themselves. And they have started this locomotive, this movement towards the success. They have it in their sights, and now they just have to close it out and not allow it to get away from them. Even on maps that could randomly not be in their favor, they still need to be very aware of playing to their strengths. And if Hybrid can continue to find the value that they have in that previous map, and even, you know, their duo being like the DPS line in and of itself, if they can continue to do that, the Torbjorn plays were unreal. You saw Molten Core getting 2, which was great. I don't think we'll be seeing that going into this one, but still, the play style in general is going to be really important.
Yeah, I think that the thing about this, too, is that we have to mention that, is a team that did reverse sweep Triple Esports earlier, so they have a lot of... They probably don't want to be on the opposite end of that, but they do have, you know, some clutch performances on a map 5, which, unfortunately for Team PEPS, the last time they played the map 5 was against SRP Chick, and they weren't able to finish that one off. So we'll see going into this one if one of these teams is going to be able to really clutch it out here. And oh, Rich, I can see it already. If you're a Team PEPS fan, I think you're feeling pretty good about where we're going to be starting.
That 75% of chat feeling real happy right now.
Oh, I forgot, actually, that only 25
75, yeah.
Those 25 were looking real happy at, like, after the first two maps, and then now it's like, okay, gotta wipe some sweat off the brow a bit.
It's like the sinking grin, you know, like you've got like your ear to ear, and then like it's like, all right, it's kind of like a little smirk, and then it goes from a smirk to like a straight face, and then like now it's like you start looking like the "aw yeah" logo, and then it's terrible. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But they're not out of this yet.
No, and for all I would be very interested to see what they do in terms of Hot Babe specifically on this DPS, or on the support role. I don't know if it'll be the Lucio, because they haven't played it like throughout the entirety of this map so far, but will it be the Kiriko or will it be the Zenyatta? Zenyatta, a lot of like upfront damage and utility with the Discord, but Kiriko, a lot better in terms of survivability, and also the utility of Suzu in these enclosed areas could be something that makes a difference, and it looks like Hot Babe will be on the Kiriko instead of that Zenyatta, so.
Molfig holding the top stairway, repositioned with the concussion mine. Big CDs have not yet truly been forced out just yet, because there's enough sustainability across the way for Molfig. Keeping a watchful eye of those. Fortify. The gold has occurred for Isaac. Kaya gets Naga, and again, out the gate, the Junkrat on this map is just treacherous to deal with. Immortality Field keeps them topped up and healthy, so they are not too concerned about it. Rounding the outer corner, causing more distress. The tension onto the remaining few of Team PEPS as they cycle back. They can't quite push in far enough. They at least keep it contested for the moment, but it eventually goes in favor of and now Kaya goes hunting again for their prey.
Oh, Isaac and Nave goes a little bit too over-aggressive, and Molfig is eventually going to get back into this fight, so Alya maybe flies a little bit too close to the sun, and they're getting taken down.
Naga also going to take out Kaya, which is so disastrous, and they have to give ground. Alya cannot stay in that.
And it's only 15%, and it was off of a pick from Hybrid, able to take down Hot Babe off of that Kiriko, and now Team PEPS have all of this positioning to work with here, and look at how much sooner Molfig is going to have this Terror Surge instead of Isaac here. That's going to be a complete difference maker. Same with the Ant Matrix that Cronus has been able to farm out.
Isaac still playing very aggressively, forcing out the cooldowns a lot earlier in this round specifically. Javelin knocks them back. Great assistance coming from the supports to keep them topped up. The Immortality Field, the Molten Core gets one. Molfig is eliminated. They no longer have that, and that's going to buy just enough time for Isaac now to generate and equalize on their Terror Surge.
And that was actually Kaya with a Junkrat Mine booping Molfig back into that Molten Core and completely taking him out, and feels like these teams are just going blow for blow back and forth. 36% taken for Team PEPS. Alya will eventually be able to match, but look at Alya's ultimate economy. Have a huge amount of key ultimates to work with in this next fight. I can't imagine how difficult it's going to look like as if Junkrat Tower comes in. It's taken down immediately by Hybrid.
The railgun was primed and ready. The Terror Surge is active, pulling them close and actually more so zoning them off, as you do see the high ground going to be capitalized on. A return surge active. Molfig is low, has the spear spin, but needs to flee. There's no more defenses. Isaac capitalizes again here and gets a two-piece.
Love the patience, specifically from Hot Babe in that fight, waiting for all of the key ultimates to be taken down, and then at the perfect moment uses Kitsune Rush, which completely blitzes the entirety of Team PEPS' Naga is in no man's land right now and has the Molten Core, and probably relaying to the team that this needs to be an operation to sneak from behind.
Mission impossible. Evac needed. Oh no, the concussion mine with the turret gets the second one to land. 1 for 1 though. FD God at least equalizes for the moment, but that doesn't mean you're feeling too confident as the multi-core comes in, lobbing, you know, saving Private Ryan. Sorry about that. I'm saving the army at this point. Naga comes in big with that play.
A huge Mission Impossible play, like you mentioned, with that flank, and tries to trade 1 for 1. It ends up working that well for them, but they just weren't expecting that Torbjorn from behind, and oh yeah. At 86%, I mean, they're in close towards that last fight territory, and they now have a Molten Core to work with, and look at all this positioning that Isaac is taking here. Kaya trying to get a kill.
And they eliminate it. They're in close proximity, but no! The rivets will surpass the grenades as Isaac rotates back into this. You do have a trade once again, though, 1 for 1. Hot Babes regrouping with the rest of the team. Cronus eludes the Javelin, still utilizing the architecture as necessary. That pillar has been great, but the percentage is still climbing for Team PEPS, collapsing in. Isaac just not really too sure of where to go. It's constant maneuvering, and Molfig is collapsing onto the support line.
Yeah, I mean, the Kitsune Rush is available right now for... Oh yeah, but they're gonna have to use it in this is the last fight territory for both of these teams, and look at how aggressive Team PEPS are being, but they need to be careful. FD God is so low.
Managing to get out, and Cool Boy obstacle onto the Lucio to get back quick enough. The Riptire, that could be the great equalizer. It gets Cronus. It opts to go for the support, the heavy hitter that's gonna heal you through it. It's now all on the shoulders of FD God, who does have the sound barrier. 3 others coming online though with Team PEPS. The Molten Core active, the lava amongst the point. The Terror Surge brings them into it, but the sound barrier making sure that they have protection. It's going to be Team PEPS lighting up the kill feed and taking round 1.
Team PEPS take control center, and there's the hammer kill you wanted right there at the very end onto Hot Babe. Naga had an absolutely impeccable impact onto this map, just switching off the Genji immediately. I love that decision from Naga, just knowing that they need to match that Torbjorn, need to match that incoming spam damage, can't go on those flanks in this enclosed area, and having this flank was just absolutely incredible, caused so much disruption, and Team PEPS 1 sub-map away from completing a reverse sweep.
And Naga, again, we saw the value that the Tor brought previously, and still on fire thus far. Oh, thank you, Obs! You amazing with that replay! As we go to Night Market now to see what unfolds.
Babe goes back over to the Zenyatta, so not opting in for the Kiriko, opting in to have that Discord Orb, and just makes Molfig's life literally miserable here, but already taken down by Hybrid, who's starting to come in so clutch for this Team PEPS team.
And now, Taser and Isaac have to flee. The boom! It gets him off the no, it's the Javelin that follows up onto it. What a miraculous turnaround. Team PEPS have absolute control right now.
I mean, it feels like they've completely started to download what Oh Yeah is trying to do. They're all starting to play incredibly well. Kaya trades 1-for-1 with Naga, but they're totally fine with that because Team PEPS have control of this point. The long-range damage from Hybrid really starting to make a difference here as Isaac is going to go in aggressively here, but Molfig is checking this backline.
You can see Isaac, playing very aggressively because that Javelin knocks them forward. They take the space and at this point are just attempting to do what they can with it. Nice immortality field. Comes out from Cronus. Hybrid is down. Oh Yeah manages to turn this back with a double headshot coming in on Hybrid and FD got and cease that percentage gain at 30.
Really heads-up play from Isaac, just going into the backline and just making sure that Cronus was completely zoned away from Molfig, so Molfig had to retreat at like 100 health. An immortality field was committed, and then it completely devolved from there. But Team PEPS recontest in here. Amplification Matrix used. Immortality, though, used for Cronus as well. Hybrid, can he find anything?
That's so early. They're not going to have it leaning into this. Couple of decent shots. Naga gets one and lights up once again. Team PEPS come in with a sweeping strike to deny Oh Yeah from keeping this for much longer.
And I love what Team PEPS is doing. They're just... when they have these advantages, they're just saying, like, screw it. We don't need to deal with, like, 1v1s against Isaac. We're just going to go into that backline. The backline is so incredibly vulnerable with the Zenyatta that they can just instantly kill these members. As Team PEPS continue to hold this positioning right now, we'll see how Oh Yeah is going to opt in to try and move forward into this one. Molten Core is available for Kaiser.
I know you want that hammer kill, Kaiser, but there's a lot more still at hand. Molten Core active, zoning them back. It doesn't really gain value. 2 already go down. Both supports, they've been eviscerated. And now Team PEPS again take another fight.
And it's starting to look dastardly here for Oh Yeah. You can come back into this with an Amp Matrix. Also have... Okay, that's a good pick. That's one way to start things off. And now this is where Oh Yeah can go aggressive here. They don't have to be worried about Hybrid with that overclock and that long-range threat one-shot potential.
70% in climbing. Ever so closely to the overtime they climb. Sound barrier available. Another pickup onto Naga. Cool Boy steps up as we've seen Hot Babe as well. Supports coming in clutch. Nice cleanup. Transcendence has been committed, but that's the only thing they want to use. But Hybrid with the overclock has gained 1 onto Cool Boy. It's still lighting up Oh Yeah in the kill feed once again though, and they've only committed the 1 ultimate.
And they keep the Junkrat Tire, which is a fight-winning ultimate in and of itself, right? They also have this Amplification Matrix, so it's going to be difficult for Team PEPS to move into this one. But with FD God having this sound barrier, Team PEPS could just use it to blanket Naga to go into the backline and just insta-kill some of those key members in the back, but they have to be so worried about this Riptire coming in from Kaya.
And just that fear factor can start to weigh on the shoulders of Team PEPS. Wall denies accessibility and escape. The Riptire taking a wide angle around the outside, looking for it, but they're all drawing back. It's gonna go straight for Naga. It's the only one close enough. Can they elude? The wall ride! The run! It doesn't get anything! Naga gets out scot-free from the chase, and this is now Oh Yeah having to just be very cognizant of how this re-entry is gonna happen. The wall onto the right side, so it funnels them into the left, but Kaya gets the concussion, takes down Naga. No blade available. Now, with the Amplification Matrix, it's Cronus attempting to counteract it. The Terror Surge from Bolting, it eliminates that May, so it doesn't have the Blizzard, and they swap it back for one last attempt.
And it's at 94%. They have to make desperate swaps.
They're not going to get there.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they can get back onto this point. Can they even do so? Isaac tries to jump in and they can't.
Isaac attempts. They managed to pull it off. The attempt from Isaac, it's all about the timing. The percentage was so close that they had no way with a team kill to come back into this. And Team PEPS, they may bend, but they do not break.
Team PEPS complete the reverse sweep, finally able to win that map 5 here. FD God with a boop at the very end. I mean, the Javelin pinned Cool Boy against the wall, but this was all FD God on this play here, and man, what a complete turnaround for this Team PEPS team. I mean, after those first 2 maps, I was like, okay, Rich, we're about to be done. It's gonna be a 3-0, it looks like, and then Team PEPS come in and play fantastic on those last 3 maps. I mean, absolutely incredible from them. The mental fortitude for them to be able to come back in against a team that was exuding so much mental RAM on them with the Junkrat play. They come back in, start to focus down that Junkrat, and Team PEPS will be moving through that lower bracket. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to yeah, who put up a great performance throughout this tournament, though.
Yeah, realistically, again, we know we're highlighting the reverse sweep and Team PEPS and what they've done, but you really do have to give a lot of credit to yeah, everyone that had performed put on a miraculous show right now. But yes, Team PEPS and that 75% of chat right now is up in arms in cheer for this continued run through this lower bracket. But before we continue on, we're going to head to a short break before getting an interview. So don't go anywhere, friends. There it is. You should be feeling really good about it, and we'll be back in just a moment.
You like solving problems. Problems like how to stop that tracer from deleting your backline. I know just what you're thinking. Go bring a turret. But y'all can't solve all your problems by simply bringing an extra friend to the battlefield. For that, you need the Contenders Torbjorn skin. Solve your problems by connecting your Battle.net account to Twitch. After that, watching Overwatch Contenders Summer Series will contribute to your drops progress, letting you claim your Overwatch Contenders Torbjorn skin. Even your turret gets an upgrade. Warning, the Overwatch Contenders Torbjorn skin does not come with extra or upgraded turrets. Build instructions will not be provided. By picking Torbjorn, you waive a claim towards any destroyed turrets. No refunds, no exchanges, and no take-backsies.
Welcome back, my friends, after a wonderful and spectacular performance. It went all 5 maps, and we had a amazing reverse sweep. But we have the opportunity here to speak with Cronus. How are you feeling, my friend? What a fight to come back after the 2-map deficit.
I feel like the best I've ever felt playing Contenders. It's I think it's like the first reverse sweep I've had, so very proud of it.
Oh, that's exciting!
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't remember ever having another reverse sweep, so it's quite nice.
Oh wow! Okay, so we get to be the witness to it for the first one. That's exciting.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So then, walk me through a little bit about this series and like kind of since it's your first reverse sweep, but like the first 2 maps, it was a bit rough there for you guys. Like, and then you get to halftime and you start coming back in. What was the kind of change that really happened between those first 2 maps and then at halftime going into these last 3 and trying to make that reverse sweep?
Coordination. So when we played the first 2 maps, we had no coordination. It was just like we just kind of hope for Lucio Genji just one-shot someone, but we have to like coordinate it as 5 players. We changed that on the last few maps, and we made it work.
So that specifically, was there any like type of communication specifically about that type of shift, or was it really just, you know, understanding like, hey, like that really wasn't working, like we have to just adapt this way? Was it just kind of a really cut and paste, like we know exactly what it is, or was there like some discussion amongst you?
We knew the exact problem. We know the comp we're playing is the better comp than theirs. We know it counters their comp because they're playing Zen especially and Junk. And yeah, the comp's just we just improved the comp mid-series and we won.
So kind of going in, I mean, obviously Oya kind of is like a team that plays less of the standard and a lot of the other teams. So like, what was it like preparing for a team like this where it's like you have these players who are so good at these individual heroes, that's not necessarily the standard? Like, what is the mindset going into playing against the team? Is it kind of like business as usual, or is it like you gotta prepare a little bit differently for this team than like a lot of the other teams?
Okay, well the thing is, you can treat them like a normal team now, since basically the heroes they play are played by almost everyone Contenders now, so it's a lot easier. So we just did an hour of prep beforehand, like created a swap system, counter swaps and everything, and yeah, that's all the prep we did.
Okay, so now when you took that first win and are able to start this adventure of the reverse sweep, was there a big just kind of momentum shift for you all? It seemed like everyone started to really fire on all cylinders. Like you both as the supports were starting to get some really great timings on things. Both Naga and Hybrid were starting to light up a lot more. Molfig was getting just great positional advantages. Is like you all just kind of felt as a unit that everything just started to click?
Yeah, basically when we went into circuit we knew we were going to win because they played their Genji guy, and that Genji can't win versus Simmei. So it kind of gave us a mental reset after we won that map, and we just went full clear mind knowing we could win on the last two.
Okay, so kind of, you know, about this tournament and then like going forward, is there any like with the meta currently and where it's at, is there any like indication for you about like what you think the meta is like? Do you think it's not settled yet? Do you think it could change like from where we are now to like in a week from now when you've had a little bit more time to prep, or do you think like the Orisa is like what we're going to be seeing more so than not?
So I think the meta going to be played by top L teams will be a combination of Orisa comps and Monkey comps. Because Monkey comps are like supposed to beat Orisa, but in Contenders like we just don't have enough time to like prepare the Monkey comps properly to beat it, so everyone's just defaulting to Orisa.
Okay, gotta play to the strengths. So, one last little comment. How did you feel with that immortality field to deny the Riptire on the push map?
Oh yeah, that was basically a game-winning lamp.
Yeah, we both. I was gonna say you should feel really proud of that one because me and Kenobi were freaking out like, oh my gosh, like that's game winning right there.
Yeah. I mean, it was serious because I think you guys get knocked out if you don't hit. So like also against like Junkrat, like the timing of like the BAP immortality field, like having that patience, is it like for you in particular, like is that something you just like have so much prep with, like being in like these scenarios a lot of the times, or just like in ranked like?
I don't get to face Junk much in rank, but I've played Oya about like 5 or 6 times in my career, and the lamp versus higher is like a mind game. It's because sometimes you're going to lamp and you're just going to redirect it to another target. It's like all mind games, knowing what he's going to do.
Well, the last thing I want to say, because we got to highlight your amazing play, which we all recognize, with 75% of the chat voting for Team PEPS. What is it that you have to say to all? I know, right? I know. You got a lot of fans out there. What do you got to say to all those that give you support, that give you love, that focus on the team, and are looking for this redemption round for you?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the fans. I talk to them in the PEPS Discord all the time, and they're just the most supportive community like I've ever seen. So I love you boys and girls.
Well, thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate it. All those supporters out there, we definitely had them all in your corner, and you were able to persevere through this and continue to move on. So we now get to say a fond farewell. You have some time before you get to play again to settle things in and, you know, lavish in the reverse sweep for right now, because congratulations on your first one.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Thank you, Cronus.
Oh, man. That was so good. That was so good. I have so much fun.
It's wild. That's Cronus' first reverse sweep. I think.
I know, right?
That is pretty insane that we're seeing that. But,
I also feel a little privileged that we were the ones that get to talk about it.
I mean, hey, look, we got the map 5s. We got everyone in chat their extra skins. So
yeah,
you know, we deserve.
It got me my extra skin. I think I got it.
We deserve that a little bit. We deserve that.
I did. Oh no, I'm 10% away. Sad face. I'll get it.
You'll get it later tonight.
I'll get it
next
week.
week. I think that this was just a great day for EMEA. We saw Twisted Minds, SR Peak Check. I was really impressed with the SR Peak Check Twisted Minds because like now it's like, okay, maybe Twisted Minds is like, maybe they're mortal a little bit. This is a meta that like, obviously they have a week to prepare now for it, but like, maybe we can see Twisted Minds start to bleed just a little bit, but until they get knocked down from that pedestal, they're still the kings of EMEA. Yeah. We can see the bracket and what it looks like now. We finally do have our final four: Twisted Minds, Ex Oblivione, Team Peps, and SR Peak Check, which are two series, Rich, that I think are going to be absolute barn burners.
It's going to be nutty, and we can take a look at when that actual match begins, which is going to be on August 28th. These are matches you are not going to want to miss, as you stated. 6 p.m. CEST and 7:30 p.m. CEST for these four teams that are left. But, with us hyping up and taking a little bit of a shift where you and I reside a lot into NA, we actually get to talk a little bit about NA today, because there's more in literally just shy of 3 hours from now.
Yeah, you can go get a snack, go get some lunch, and then come back for NA here. 0-3 Splash versus Pirates in Pajamas as we go through the upper bracket of these matchups to find our final four in NA. 0-3 Splash versus Pirates in Pajamas, I think is going to be a great one. And then Saints versus Wisp, another one, which I'm just like, ooh boy, I'm looking forward to that one. And we get to see Afterlife again after seeing them twice yesterday, as you can see the bracket and how we've gotten here so far. Pirates in Pajamas with a very competitive series against Afterlife and 0-3 Splash. It'll be great to see them in this kind of tournament right now and what the meta looks like as they come in, because they were a very, very good team throughout the entirety of the round robin stage.
It's going to be exciting. And again, you and I and others, all of our other duos have just been talking about the amount of competitive nature from all of these teams and how actually close, even in chat, I've been seeing people, like when we're not casting and I see it, like everyone's acknowledging the significance of competition between these teams and how it really can go, any direction in some cases is exciting to see. And even with the shift, with the patch notes and everything else, there's still some competitive excitement to all of this and a wide range of heroes that we get to see, Kenobi, and it's been exhilarating.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really good to see, the competitiveness and the parity kind of be here. Even for EMEA, I mean, that matchup was really close between these two teams. We've seen 2 reverse sweeps on broadcast already, and then in NA, I think everything has been close so far that we've seen. So, before we see like Twisted Minds, even like Twisted Minds, where it's like they could very easily have just like smash their way through this bracket. They have, they played SR Peak Check relatively close. So I think that this is between these top 4 teams, I think anyone in the EMEA could do it. And when we get to NA, I think it's still a very open bracket.
And that concludes this segment for EMEA. But again, we'll be seeing you in, like I said, just shy of 3 hours. So we'll catch you then for NA. And, again, enjoy the time. Take a break. We'll see you.
Oh, hello! Fancy meeting you here. It's so nice to see ya. Are you ready to survive the wastelands? Then you'll need to bring your shotgun, your axe, and of course, your knife. For your sharp wit, if you get my drift. Hey, whoa. Hold on there. Don't forget to pick up your Overwatch Contenders Junker Queen skin. Yeah, gearing up is as easy as connecting your Battle.net account to Twitch. And after that, watching the Overwatch Contender Summer Series will contribute to your drop progression, letting you claim your own wasteland-ready Overwatch Contenders Junker Queen skin. Oh, that's right. It's time to rampage. Now, get out there and slay with the Overwatch Contenders Junker Queen skin. Okay, take care now. See you in chat.